That leads me to this kind of is a segue for me. I just want to talk about this guy. Ben Johnson going to
Yeah.
Chicago is going to be, I think it might work out for all parties involved. And if you're a Dallas fan, not to shit on you, he hires Al Harris right away. And all the Cowboy fans I know are losing their minds because we already had somebody on staff he liked. But why didn't we get him in here soon enough, right? It's a valid point, right?
Right.
So what do you have to say? What would you say? Or what does that make you think? That hey, Ben Johnson took Chicago's job, spurned Dallas, and then he's hiring one of Dallas's up and comers, who we hear about a lot. You hear a lot about how good Al Harris is.
Yeah. The Cowboys shit, we'll get into it, but I mean that's a thing where Dallas doesn't know what they're doing, bro. Like I think Ben Johnson has a very big plan. I think this is like he's been thinking about this for a while, and I think it's obvious. I think it's a reason why he didn't take a job last year. He wanted the perfect situation. Like he gave the Raiders thing like a listen, out of respect for Brady, but I think he knew deep down inside where he wanted to go. And I think number one, he wanted to go a place where there's a quarterback. He has that in Caleb Williams, a young quarterback.
Who he can mold.
That
he can mold him.
Exactly. Make him into his guy. And Chicago's not short of talent. We know that. Chicago has talent fucking everywhere. It's a coaching problem. It's obvious. Okay. And Ben Johnson is getting some of the guys where he got the youngest coordinator of all time that's 28 years old that came out of Denver. I'm forgetting his name right now.
Oh, the passing game coordinator. Yeah. Hot commodity. A big commodity. He's like, hey, he just worked with Bo Nix. Bo Nix had a great campaign, me and you probably wouldn't have predicted.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's about who you hire. And I agree with you on Ben Johnson was selective about where he went. He probably got some bad juju, bad vibes from Dallas. And he's like, this team could do a potential worst the first jump.
Now,
it's not out of the realm.
Now, the one thing that I feel like is kind of questionable, that kind of caught me off guard, was Ryan Pohl. I think that's the thing that's kind of weird here. And I know people are hot and cold on Ryan Pohl, including myself. I feel like he makes some really good moves, but the aftermath of it, like they don't really turn out all that well, What do you?
I'm thinking about what you just said and some of his moves. What moves come to mind to make you say that? I'm thinking about if you really look at the moves, I don't think he's made a good move.
Right.
I'm thinking about DJ Moore, that whole trade.
Yeah, the Keenan Allen shit kind of exploded in his face. I think the point of drafting a receiver wasn't really the best option at 10.
Correct. Keenan Allen was a complete bust of a move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
I mean, Montez Sweat was a good trade.
And some of his free agent signings, like Tremaine Edmonds, wasn't all that impactful.
I think he just gave us our next video idea. I think we have to really dissect his Ryan Pohl's the guy to lead the Bears in the future.
Yeah, and that's
because I think Ben Johnson has all the writing to be a great head coach.
Right. And
he's just too creative.
Yeah. And my whole thing is like Ben Johnson, I don't know if the reports were true, but what I was hearing with the Raiders thing was that's why they fired I'm forgetting his name, the Chargers GM a couple years ago.
Oh, Tom Telesco?
Yes, thank you. Tom Telesco, the Raiders GM last year. And that's why they were so quick to pull the trigger. Because that was the biggest thing with Ben Johnson was like, I want to bring in my own GM. I want to have my guy. And so I kind of find it surprising that Chicago kept Ryan Pohl and he was like, I'm on board for it. It kind of scares me because, like I said, maybe we got to do a little deeper dive on Ryan Pohl, but Ryan Pohl just kind of scares me. It just kind of scares me because he could destroy what Ben Johnson has. Because Ben Johnson, he's hiring Antoine Randall, who I think is a great assistant head coach to have.
Yeah, receiver coach, great.
Yeah, and he hired Dennis Allen as his defensive coordinator, which I love. I love Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator. I don't like him as a head coach. But Dennis Allen is more than qualified to be a defensive coordinator. He's building a fucking super coaching staff, what I believe. He's hiring a lot of big fucking dogs. The other guy who's hiring big dogs is obviously Mike Vrabel. He has a lot of former head coaches, but Ben Johnson ain't no slouch. And part of being a young mastermind at offense is you just know who's the up and comers. Like a guy that knows the up and comers constantly, Sean McVay. How often do we
Oh
hear
my goodness,
a guy that we
picked.
know at offensive coordinator or quarterback
Well,
coach for the
Liam
Rams?
Cohn, Kevin O'Connell, Zach Taylor,
Right, right. But when they
LaFleur.
hire the Max, we don't know who the fuck they are. We're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then the next year we know him, like he's the hot
Yeah,
commodity.
yeah.
You know?
No, it's. I agree with you. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's the one part that I'm scared of, the Ryan Pohl, Ben Johnson thing. But I love Ben Johnson.
yeah. A higher for me.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
I would just give it an A just because of the Ryan Pohl thing and because he is a rookie head coach, doesn't have all that much experience, but it's going to be exciting to watch, man. Chicago is one of those teams where they're in a tough division. They're going to have to play Detroit twice. That's going to be fun to watch. But this is all Caleb Williams. And I have confidence, Max. Like I'm already like punching my ticket for the over on the Bears. I think they're going to be vastly improved. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a big year. I I would be
The
absolutely
one thing
shocked.
about this is just you kind of wish it happened last year, right?
Mm,
You kind of wish Ben Johnson just took the job last year. It's like fire Eberflus, let
right.
him learn the system for a year,
Yeah.
because this year could be growing pains. It could
Yeah.
be
Could be
right,
a year
and that's
behind.
not bad. It's just typically you have to adjust, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's always scary about a rookie head coach. Is it going to be a quick adjustment? Is it going to take a year? Because then, questions set in. Maybe people get derailed. It's stuff like that. And we'll just have to wait and see. But I like the hire. And,
Yeah.
dude, Detroit is going to be a team that's just victimized this coaching cycle because they're not just losing Ben Johnson on. They're losing Aaron Glenn at
Yeah.
DC. And that's a tough position to be in. Like, I just want to talk about Detroit just for a second. Losing your OC, your DC position coaches, you're going to be losing players because Aaron Glenn's like, I want my Lions guys. They know what I want.
Yeah. Like Ben Johnson,
It's
he's already saying he's
scary.
gonna take their draft pick, Hooker. He wants to follow Ben Johnson. David Montgomery, another guy who's like, should I go with Chicago? Antoine Randall, he's a guy that was a big part
Yeah.
of Jameson Williams' growth. He was really close with Jameson, and now he's not going to be there. So how's Jameson going to respond? He doesn't have that voice in his ear anymore. Like, hey, kid, you're great. Like, you got this, or get on his ass when he's fucking up. That shit matters, bro. And
Yeah.
Max had a front row seat to it. He's an Eagle fan. He went through this last year with the Eagles. They lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, and it was a huge impact. They couldn't
Correct.
figure it out.
Big dreams, everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold, both clean. Not on my team. This organic, we don't buy